Welcome back to PSC's Tech Bytes. This week, we keep on talking about using YoTeams for creating a team solution. And specifically, we will have a look at how you can create a team tab. In fact, with YoTeams, you simply need to be a React developer to being able to create a Teams tab, which can be either a configurable Teams tab that you can use in a channel of a team or in a group chat, or it can be a static one, which is also known as a personal app in Teams. And once you have done that, you are ready to go and you can use the same development model with both of the flavors that you have for Teams tab with YoTeams. So, as usual, let's move to the demo environment and let's see how to do that in practice. So, here we are in the console window and we can use the Yeoman generator for Teams to start creating a new Teams solution. YoTeams is the command, as you know. I will provide a solution name. I will use the current folder. This will be the description of my project. Company name is myself right now, and I will use version 1.5 of the manifest for the apps for Teams. I don't have right now a Microsoft Partner ID, so I will leave it blank, and then I want to create a tab, and this will be one of the main choices that I have to make in order to create a team tab. Then I can eventually provide the URL of an Azure website which will host my solution, and I can eventually include the testing framework or the telemetry, which I will not do right now. The name for my tab will be YoTeams Tech Bytes, for example. If it is not longer than 16, no it is not, and now I can choose if I want to make it configurable or static. Right now, let me choose configurable, and then we will come back and make another one static. It will be a tab which will be executed in a channel of a team, or it could be executed and hosted in a group chat. And I don't want right now to use single sign-on because we will cover it in one of the upcoming episodes. And I don't want to host it in SharePoint Online. So now the scaffolding is running. As you can see, it is downloading a bunch of NPM packages and it will take a while. So just to avoid wasting your time, I will suspend for a while the recording. And now the solution is ready, so I can run code dot and see in Visual Studio Code what got generated. Under the SRC folder, in the app subfolder, in the script subfolder, I have a folder named as my Teams tab, and there I have a TSX, so a React component, which is my YoTeam Tech Bytes tab, which extends the Teams-based component provided by the infrastructure. And in there, in the render method, I do the rendering, and I have a default rendering of my React component, which will implement the Teams tab. Moreover, in the component will mount, I get, if I am in Teams, I get a reference to the team context, and I use that one to read the entity ID property of my tab. Why? Because the entity ID is the property that is used in the configuration panel of my tab, which is yet another React component. That React component will provide in the render method still the UI to configure with custom settings my Teams tab. And in the method associated with the onSave handler of the configuration, we simply set the settings through Teams, the settings of my tab, configuring the entity ID property of my Teams tab with the selected value of the configuration provided by the user. So this is the state of my configuration React component, and value is the property that I have in the interface for my configuration tab React component. Of course, you can create your own properties in the interface, and you can configure them inside the entity ID property, which you will get back right here in the team tab in order to properly render your tab. How can we test it? Well, new terminal, we can do gulp and grok serve, and grok is a tool which will provide a public endpoint which will be a proxy to our localhost running locally, and with gulp and grok serve, we are simply running the local server in Node.js on my machine for debugging purposes, and I'm making it available with a public URL through the ngrok service. Now it is ready, and it is listening on port 3007 on my localhost machine, and as such, I can go to Microsoft Teams using the web UI for the sake of simplicity, and I can simply say that I want to go to the Manage Team sections, to the apps, and I want to upload a custom package. This package will be the one of my solution, which is a zip file created by the Yeoman generator tool. I can add this package, And in a matter of few seconds, in a channel inside that theme, I will be able to add a new tab. And here you can see the Yo Teams Tech Bytes 01, which I created. And I will be able to add it to my environment, to my team channel. I can provide some custom configuration here. This is the configuration tab we saw before. I can add it. And here I have my tab with my custom configuration and all of my stuff. And what if I want to create a static tab? The story is almost the same. So I can run again Your Teams. Your Teams is smart enough to recognize that we are in a solution where we already executed Your Teams. So I will say that I'm sure that I want to change it. I don't want to change the manifest. I simply want to add a new tab, which will be my choice. And I want to add a tab which right now will be a static one. So the name will be Static Tech Bytes, for example. And it will be a static one, still without single sign-on. So far, in a matter of few seconds, I will have the scaffolding of my new static tab, which is ready right now. And if I go back to Visual Studio Code, we can see that now we have a new folder, which is Static Tech Bytes tab, sorry. And inside this one, we have a React component, just one, because we don't have the configuration panel, being the fact that now we have a static tab. And inside this React component, we have our class extending the Teams-based components like as before, and we still have the rendering and everything else. So now I can stop the ngrok serve, and I can run it again to create a new version of my package. Once I've done that, I will be able to upload my package into the team in which I am. So let me go back to Teams. Let me click now on the three dots here for the personal apps, more apps, and let me choose to upload a custom app for me or my teams. But I can eventually do that for the whole tenant if I'm allowed to do that. So now I can select the zip file that I just created. And by doing that, I will add it to my team. And as you can see now, I have my Static Tech Bytes tab here available with a default set of settings. If you like it, you can also go back to the Visual Studio Code project and you can play with the manifest file of the solution so that you can add additional information about your tabs. And right here, for example, you can see the settings, some of the settings that we provided through the Yeoman generator for Teams, as well as the section with the configurable tabs and the section with the static tabs that we just configured and created. And that's it. Like always, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.